Hey guys, today we're going to go over keys and run fits. Okay, so first let's talk about what is a key. A key is a visual cue. It's where your eyes should be when the ball is snapped. The reason why your key is important is because it helps you with your reads. It also, for linebackers and defensive linemen, it tells you whether it is run pass. And then oftentimes our keys will tell us the direction of the play. And so it's important that we start to understand what our keys are so that we can make our proper reads. Okay, so we have our 3-4 tight here. Um, the ends are always, their keys are always going to be the tackle and the guard. Okay, the nose is always going to key the center. The mic and the wheel are always going to key the guard. Possibly later in this year, we'll teach you what's called a triangle read, where you key, a triangle where the 3 points are the center, the tackle, and the back. But just for starters, this year, we're just going to keep guards, okay? And then the Zeke and the Sam, your key depends on the alignment. If you are apexed, okay, because the number two is split, then your key is this tackle. But if the number two is attached, then your key becomes this tight end. Same thing here. Okay, so when the ball is snapped, okay, your eyes should be on your keys. All right. Now, the main thing that our key is going to tell us is whether it is run or pass. So obviously, if the guard's base block, we know that it is, or excuse me, if the offensive line base blocks, we know that it is run. If the offensive line pass sets, we know that it is pass. Okay. Now let's talk about the running back. So we always start with our keys on the offensive line. Okay. If it is run, okay, our eyes move from our offensive line key to the near back. Okay. So we actually kind of have two keys. Okay. One is the offensive lineman. And then if it's a run play, then we go to the near back. Prior to the snap, you always want to understand the level of the running back. Okay. If the running back is in a level one, which is anytime it's behind the quarterback, this can be pistol um, or anywhere behind the quarterback. We are thinking this is going to be an inside run, so between the tackles, um, or an RPO, a run pass option. If it's a level two, okay, we are expecting an outside run, okay, so like outside zone or sweep or something like that, or a pass. If the running back is in a level three position, which is in front of the quarterback, we're expecting them to block. This is sometimes called a sniffer or a Y off or something like that. Um, Stack and nub, those are all terms I've heard. Okay. So we're thinking either quarterback run or this person's in the three position to help with pass protection. Okay. So before the play, we just want to note the level of the running back. Okay. Like I said, all of our keys are on the offensive line. Okay. So the Zeke, so our initial key is the offensive line. If it is a run, then our eyes will shift to the running back and we want to key on the running back's flow. Okay. If the running back If the running back's shoulders are turned to the sideline, this is an outside flow. Okay, so we're thinking like outside zone, sweep, stretch, something like that. Okay, we're going to press for width in our gaps. Okay, meaning that your gaps are going to move horizontally, and so we need to move with our gaps. Okay, if the running back shoulders are square to the line of scrimmage, this is what we call a tight flow. Okay, we're most likely going to get a pull or some sort of down block like a duo. Okay. And if the running back shoulders are square to the line of scrimmage, this is what we call inside. This is just like your basic inside zone, things of that nature. They're just coming downhill. Okay. All right. So just to recap, okay. So your keys, it's your visual cue. And this is what you should be looking at when the ball is snapped. Okay. Um, the first thing that your key does is your key will tell you if it's run or pass. Okay. If it is pass, then we get into our coverages. If it is run, then we get into our run fits. Additionally, if it is run, we want our eyes to move from the offensive line key to the near back. And what we're trying to get an understanding is the flow of the running back. Okay. Okay. So that naturally leads us into run fits. So, what is a run fit? A run fit is your responsibility when the offensive has a run play. Okay. So this is where you need to be in the event when the offense runs the ball. Okay, our nose, your run fit or your gap responsibility is always going to be the weak side A gap. Okay, so if we are pass strength to the right, you are always going to attack um, the weak side of the center and you are going to own this A gap. The ends, you are going to own this B gap. Okay. Uh, when the Sam and the Zeke are apexed, all right, you have the C gap. So anytime the number two is split and we're in this apex position, you have the C gap. If the number two is attached, remember your alignment, you come up to the line of scrimmage and you are outside shade of the number two attached or the tight end, and you now have the D gap. Okay. Same thing for the Sam. Okay, let's talk about the mics. The mics have A gap to C gap. All right. So the mics, you always have the A gap to the C gap, A gap to the C gap. Okay. In the 3-4 tight, the mic and the will, you have A gap to C gap, and we're going to teach you a handful of techniques this year. Um, on it's called stack track fallback, which is one of the techniques that we're going to use against inside zone. But then we're also going to teach you just your basic fill your gap and scrape to open windows, cloudy to clear, stuff that you learned last year. Okay. So this is pretty simple. The key here is you really want to, number one, memorize your keys and then memorize your run fits. Okay. For the Zeke, the end, the nose, and the Sam, your run fits are pretty easy. Okay. Um, for the Mike and the Will, because you're two gap, okay, yours, we're gonna have to work with you this year on teaching you that. Okay. But just memorize these and we will go from there.